Alhamdulillah, all praise be to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that give us this opportunity for us to continue our class, and we pray to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, may Allah bless our efforts and may Allah make us among those who are pious and the muttaqin, insyaAllah. Amin Rabbal Alamin. So we continue with our part 2 in fact of our Arabic, basic Arabic. So we have already discussed on the part where we mainly discuss on the part of fi'il and how does the transition from huwa all the way to nahnu. Okay, just a recap. So this is the diagram that we are going to learn from, and this is the format and approach that we are going to take. So we start with fa'ala, right? Fa'ala, as per what we have already learned, the dhamir in this particular fraction is huwa. Then you escalate up to fa'ala, it is huma. So you can refer back to your kitab. Okay, I think I make it smaller like this. So you can refer back to your kitab. So for fa'ala, there's a dhamir of huwa here, then fa'ala, dhamir of huma, and so on. So it has to be in sequence from left to right. Okay, start from the left. That means how we go about this is that this will be number 1, fa'ala will be number 1, 2, 3, then fa'alat will be number 4, fa'alata, this one is fa'alata, there's a mad supposed to be number 5 supposed to be fa'alata, there's a mad in the ta, fa'alata, that means they both did for a female for the third person, which is a feminine state. Now we have fa'alna, which is number 6, right? It's number 6. Okay. Then we have fa'alta, which is number 7. Okay. Then we have fa'altuma, which is number 8. Fa'altum number 9. Fa'alti number 10. Fa'altuma number 11. Fa'altu number 12. Fa'altu number 13. Fa'alna 14. So altogether you have 14 wazan for fi'il madhi. So it is parallel to the dhamir muttasil, huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna. So this is dhamir muttasil. Dhamir muttasil is dhamir that is detached, is independent by its own, and it has a meaning of the pronoun, right? Like you, me, we, they, right? So fa'ala means he did, fa'ala means they both did, and so on. So you can refer back to the translation at page 4. Okay. In fact, last session we actually discussed on the huruf ziyadah. So just short recap. Huruf ziyadah consists of sa'altumuniha. This is huruf ziyadah in verbs. You memorize this regardless if you go up to 3-letter verb, 4-letter verb, 5-letter verb, or 6-letter verb, right? This sa'altumuniha will still be applicable. It will still be applicable, and the approach will still be the same. What you have learned right here from our last session, that daraba, fa'ala, then we have fa'ala, daraba, and then this alif is aliful isnain, as per what we have discussed last week. Aliful isnain, which shows alif that represent two person. That means here is 2 male, which is the third person. Okay, so this alif is a huruf ziyadah. So when you go to 4, 5, 6 letter verb, right, regardless the wazan, this huruf ziyadah still complies and still applies. You still follow that the same pattern. Will never change. There's one good thing about when you learn verbs, right? You learn from the basis of huruf ziyadah. Because some of them, when they learn verb, they just learn to memorize the verb. They don't really understand the technicality of how does it transit from this particular verb to the next verb. That transition, right in between, you have to learn the technical aspect. It's very important. Maybe for some might think that, why are we learning this at this very beginning stage? But it's good, because when you learn this at this beginning stage, every time when we want to practice verbs, you will definitely apply that method, and you will always repeat that pattern again and again, because the only way for you to understand Arabic is by repetition. The more you repeat the same topic, or the more you repeat the same practices, the more that knowledge stays with you. So in fact, the last session we have discussed, right, on the part of fa'ala and darabah here. So fa is a fa fi'il, so we cancel off. Okay, I use another color. So we cancel off fa here, and we cancel off ain. Then we have the balance of lam. Then we cancel off lam fi'il, then we have the balance of alif, right? So this alif is huruf ziyadah, and this alif is called aliful ithnain, alif that represent two, right? Two male. Same. Dot is the fa fi'il, ra is the ain fi'il, ba is the lam fi'il. You cancel off, then you have alif balance. So this is basically the technical aspect on how we should approach verbs. Okay, so last week we discussed on darabu. Darabu is the same, waw and alif, right? Here can darabu, waw and alif. So waw is a huruf ziyadah, alif also is a huruf ziyadah, but waw here is called waw jama' or waw jama'ah. Waw jama' means waw that represents the plural form for the male third person, for the masculine state of the third person. And whereas this alif is not aliful ithnain, this alif is called alifut tafriq, alif that shows the difference of the wazan, alif that shows the difference of the wazan. Okay, last week we stopped at which verb, wazan? Darabat. Now, do we stop at darabat? Right? So darabat, okay, darabat. Oh, darabata, sorry, okay. Can. Okay, we revise back on darabat. Darabat means she did. Okay, she did. Fa'alat means darabat she beat, sorry. Cancel off. She beat. Fa'alat means she did. Okay, so here there's a giveaway, right? The third person is a she, so means it's a feminine state. So same method, fa, ain, lam, then we have the ta with the sukun here as the huruf ziyadah. Same goes to the darabat. Dot is the fa fi'il, ra is the ain fi'il, ba is the lam fi'il. Then we have the ta with the sukun here as the huruf ziyadah. This ta with the sukun is called ta'ut ta'nith, as-sakinah. Okay, ta'ut ta'nithis sakinati. What does it mean for this ta'ut ta'nith? Ta ta'nith means ta that resemble the feminine state, ta that ta'nith mean feminine state. Ta that represent or resembles the feminine state. Ta'nith is feminine state. Okay, this is called ta'nith. As-sakina that has with a sukun, that means with a sukun, that has a sukun in it. So sukun means what? This vowel lah that you see here, right? This is a vowel of sukun. So ta with a sukun is called ta ta'nith as-sakinah. This is for the huruf ziyadah of darabat. That's why the translation is she did. It cannot be he, right? So this because when we learn verb in this manner, very detailed, very in fact it helps you to identify various wazan in great details. One advantage is, so when you want to, let's say, translate, or you want to understand the meaning of an ayah in the Quran, right? Then you can relate. That ayat is referring to a feminine third person or first or second person, or a feminine dual or plural form. Understand? Because he has for this topic, verbs itself, fi'l madhi is very detailed and is very precise, and everything is at its own state. Okay, understand? Okay, I move on to the next verb, next wazan. We have huma, fa'alata. Okay, fa'alata, last session we did mention also. So same, fa ain lam fi'il. You see, then we have ta with the alif as a huruf ziyadah. So ta with alif, the huruf ziyadah here consists of two huruf. The first huruf ya is ta ta'nith. Ta ta'nith. Ta ta'nith. Ta ta'nith means what? Ta that resembles. So this ta consists of two huruf. One is ta, see the ta here, another one is the alif, right? So the first one, ta, is ta ta'nith, ta that resembles the feminine state. Okay, but it's not ta ta'nith as-sakinah as per mentioned before here, right? Here ta ta'nith as-sakinah because there's a sukun, and this ta it also represents the feminine state. But for this ta ta'nith, it represents the feminine state, but it's not in sukun. It's not in the state of sukun. Okay, that's one thing that you have to take note. Then we have the alif, right? This alif is called aliful ithnain. This alif is called aliful ithnain. Aliful ithnain. Okay, aliful ithnain. Alif that represent two person. So here the two person here, this aliful ithnain is not the same as per the aliful ithnain that we discussed in fa'ala form. Okay, allow me to show. Fa'ala form is where? From here. Okay, this is also aliful ithnain, but this aliful ithnain that represent two male third person. But this aliful ithnain here, this doesn't resemble male, just resemble two person. But from this verb, what does it? This verb, what is the sign that resembles the female state? Is the ta. Can you see? Is the ta, ta'u ta'nith. Ta'u ta'nith means ta that resembles the feminine state. So the quantity here, you have to go back to this alif. Alif is, there's two personnel involved. For this case, there's two third person involved. Two third person involved. Okay? So this is one way for you to go in great detail, right? Because this alif doesn't shows the state. This aliful isnin in this darabata or fa'alata doesn't shows whether it's masculine or feminine state. The ones that the sign or the huruf that shows and reflect the meaning of the feminine state is the ta ta'nith. It's very straightforward. Can you understand? Can Okay, so far any question not? Okay, not so confusing, I think for a start. Don't worry, if you don't understand during this lesson, I suggest, right, you got 1 week, right, to review the video. Just keep on viewing the video. That's how you are able to understand. Say.
The wazan is actually referring to feminine state, but here there's one is a male, one is for female. So how to?
Alif. Are you referring to the alif?
Yes.
Alif, you go back to this wazan. If it's in the fa'ala form, right, this is definitely, and again fa'ala falls under which place? Here, number 2. Number 2 is where? Huma. And this finger is what finger? Male finger for third person, right? So that is very straightforward. Okay, that's one way for you to identify. Okay, then we have the fa'alata here, right? Then this alif also aliful isnin, right? This alif is huma, but huma for which state? Female, feminine state. Two person for dual, for the third person, right? So how to identify? You identify by the wazan. Fa'ala, this alif definitely is aliful isnin for two male, third person. Then we have the fa'alata, this alif is showing the quantity of this verb. Okay, but the state of the feminine state, right, is the ta. The one that really shows the feminine state is the ta. Understand? It's not the alif. Alif is just to show the quantity. But for the previous one here, fa'ala is mafhum. That means is understood, because there's only this one wazan huma that possesses this fa'ala, and there's only this one wazan for fi'l madhi, for past tense, that possess aliful isnin for two male, which is the third person. Fa'ala, daraba, fataha, jalasa, and so on. Okay? Kan? Boleh Okay, next. Then we have the hunna state. This is hunna. Okay, this is under the domain of hunna. By the translation of hunna, you know, right? They all, but it's in feminine state. Third person, plural, feminine state. Okay. So we have fa'alna. So same method, right? We cancel off the fa fi'il, ain fi'il, lam fi'il, and we have the nun. Then same, daraba is the dot is the fa fi'il, ra is the ain fi'il, ba is the lam fi'il, then we have the nun. So this nun is the huruf ziyadah. So by now you are able to identify which is the fa fi'il, ain fi'il, lam fi'il. By now, at the same time also you are able to identify what comes after that is always the huruf ziyadah. What comes, that means whatever that is balanced after we eliminate the fa, ain, lam, right, is always the huruf ziyadah. That is one thing that you all can practice on your own. Same when you come across when you recite the Quran, when you come across verbs, right, especially three-letter verbs, you come across three-letter verbs, you try to practice this, right? When you see this verb that there's a pattern. There's a pattern that is very similar that you have learned here. Okay, then you eliminate. You eliminate the fa, fi'il, ain, fi'il, lam, fi'il. Then you see what is the huruf ziyadah there. Then the huruf ziyadah is for you to refer back what would be the translation and who this verb is directing is directing towards to. Understand? Okay, see, okay, right. So for this nun, sorry for this nun, there's a name for this nun. This nun is called Nunun Niswa. Nunun Niswati. Nun Niswa means nun that shows the plural form for female. It's a state. This nun is a feminine state. This nun resembles and represent the feminine state, but it comes with the quantity together with it. It shows nun niswa means nun that resembles the feminine state, at the same time reflecting that it is for the plural form. Understand not? It is for the plural form, meaning it has a translation of they did, they beat, but for the female, the feminine state, third person. So nun niswa is very important. Nun niswa, there's a lot of discussion on nun niswa in the Arabic language. Okay, then we move next. So far, any question? You can stop me in between, no problem. Okay, we move to the next page, page 9. Then we have fa'alta and darabta. Okay, this it will be the dhamir of anta. Okay, this will be the dhamir of anta. If you go back to page 5, right? See, this will be at number 7, and it's in line with anta, number 7. Fa'alta anta. Okay. So darabta, fa'alta, same. Fa fi'il we cancel off, ain fi'il we cancel off, lam fi'il we cancel off. Then we have the ta. Ta with what? Ta bi fatha. Here in this kitab is mentioned ta bi fatha. Bi fatha means with fatha, with the vowel of fatha here. Ta with these open vowels of fatha is the huruf ziyadah. Same goes to dot is the fa fi'il, ra is the ain fi'il, ba is the lam fi'il. Ta with the fatha is the huruf ziyadah, which is the additional huruf. By now you should know what is the meaning of ziyadah. Ziyadah means additional. Is the additional huruf. No doubt it's additional, but it's still 1/3. There's things in sometimes when we learn, there's things that is additional but is unwanted, so we discard it, right? But for this case, for verb, when we learn Arabic language, this huruf ziyadah is additional huruf, yes, but the huruf ziyadah, the whole verb is dependent towards the huruf ziyadah, because without the huruf ziyadah it will not produce any meaning, or cannot direct the translation to the proper or appropriate personnel or individuals. Because why? When you want to say they, you have to use the appropriate wazan, right? When you want to say she, he, you have to use the appropriate wazan. That's why this huruf ziyadah is very important to be part of this wazan. So darabta, fa'alta. So we have anta. This ta with ta bi fatha is called ta'ul mukhatab. Ta'ul mukhatabi. Okay, but you can waqaf it as ta'ul mukhatab. Mukhatab ta, I think by now you know what is ta. Ta means the huruf ta itself. Ta mukhatab means the person that is being addressed. I spell correctly, address. So address means the person that is being addressed. Okay, that is called mukhatab. Okay, right. Just to share a bit, the word mukhatab, this is just to share. The word mukhatab comes from the verb of khataba. This one you haven't learned yet, so but never mind, I'm just showing you a bit of what Arabic language is all about on an advanced scale. So khataba, this is a 4-letter verb. Again, 4-letter verb. 4L verb means 4-letter verb. So when we say 4-letter verb, we are not ready yet to embark on this. Okay, give yourself about 1 year for you to gain that experience before you can embark on 4-letter verb 5, 6. Okay, before you can embark on 4-letter verb, you have to master the 3-letter verb first. When you master the 3-letter verb, you go up to 4, 5, 6, you have good foundation. That's how you learn Arabic. You don't skip. So you don't go to 4, 5, 6-letter verb, whereas your 3-letter verb is still poor. It's still poor, and you still have lack of understanding in the terms of how to differentiate huruf ziyada and how does it transit from this one verb to another verb. Okay, so khataba, this is I just want to share. Khataba means to address, means he address in the in the context of fi'il madhi, past tense. Okay, so the person who address, we can say mukhatib. Mukhatibun, the person who address. Understand? The person who address. So if let's say we have A, right, who is the mukhatib. Okay, just put mukhatib. A is the mukhatib. Then we have B. That means A is addressing B. Okay, A is addressing B. So B is the mukhatab. Understand not? Mukhatab. Understand? B is a mukhatab, the person that is being addressed. Understand? So A being the first person, B now is being the second person, right? A is the first person, B is the second person. So the dhamir for A, if he is addressing, if he want to address himself, A, if he want to address himself, he should use ana, right? Am I right to say? Ana. So for B now, if A want to address B, B is now the second person, so A should address B as what? Anta, right? Understand? Can you understand this concept? Again, from our first lesson, I did share with all of you, learning Arabic is not about how many verbs or how many words, right? How many mufradats that you memorize. Learning Arabic is understanding the concept. The more concept in Arabic that you understand and you practice and you learn, I tell you, the way your linguistic skill will be at a highest level, because you understand the concept and the approach of every aspect of Arabic language. So when we say mukhatib, the person who is addressing, right? So A is going to address B. That means he's going to address B for going to engage B in a conversation, maybe. Then if A want to address himself, he has to use the dhamir ana, the pronoun of ana. So when A would like to address B, now A, he want to address B, which is the mukhatab, the person that is being addressed, right? A have to address B in the form of anta, right? Because B for in the likes, in the view of A, B is actually the second person. In the view of A, B is actually the second person. So A should actually address B as anta. That's why here, okay, you understand this concept? So that's why, going back to here, mukhatab is the person that is being addressed. So this ta is representing, right, the person that is being addressed right in front. So that will be the second person. That's why it has the meaning of anta. So fa'alta means you did. That's why the translation will be you did. Darabta will be you beat. Right? With that being said, the person that is being addressed here, you have to understand, is in the masculine state. Remember, the ta bi fathah, the ta that is with the fathah is representing mukhatab. Mukhatab is the person that is being addressed, but the person that is being addressed in front is in the masculine state. That means it has to be a male. Okay, it has to be a male. It has to be a male. It cannot be a female. This darabta and fa'alta, it has to be directed towards a second person, which is a male singular. So the translation will be you male did, you male did. I mean, you male, that male represent that state of the second person lah. Can understand? Yeah. So mukhatab, mukhatib. That's why we have every Jum'ah we have khatib. Khatib means the person who go up in the to the mimbar and address a speech. That's why we have khatib. Al-khatib means to the person who address the speech itself. Okay. Alright. Then we move to the next wazan, which is darabtuma. Darabtuma is under the pronoun of antuma. Can see? Is under the pronoun of antuma. Okay. Same method. Fa, ain, lam. Dot is the fa fi'il, ra is the ain fi'il, ba is the lam fi'il. Same. Now we have the balance of tuma, ta, mim and alif. This ta, mim and alif, okay, these three huruf, right? Or in fact, collectively, this tuma is huruf ziyadah, but this tuma is dhamir muttasil. See, dhamir muttasil with the huruf tuma here is the huruf ziyadah. Can see, tuma is the huruf ziyadah. So what do we call it? We call it as dhamir muttasil. What does dhamir muttasil mean? A pronoun that is attached right? An attached pronoun. Can understand? Okay, this one we need to sidetrack a bit. No, say sidetrack. It's in line with what we are in now. Okay, dhamir muttasil. Let's go to dhamir muttasil. Okay, we have learned dhamir muttasil in isim. Am I right? We have learned dhamir muttasil in isim. Dhamir muttasil in isim, we have ya, na, ki, kuma, kunna. Am I right to say this? Then we have ka, kuma, kum. You can refer back to our book 1. Book 1 will be which page? Book 1? What page? From book 1? Page 8. Yeah, you can refer back to book 1, page 8. Right? Kum. Then we have ha, huma, hunna. Right? Then we have hu, huma, hum. So this is all the 14 dhamir muttasil that we have learned back then from book 1. Can see? Can see, yeah? Okay. I need to draw a bit, just give me a moment. Allow me to draw something. Okay, so we are going to focus on just these two finger. So imagine this for dhamir muttasil. We are just going to focus on these two finger. These two finger, the second person, okay? Second person. For dhamir muttasil, when it's attached to noun, here we have ki, we have kuma, and we have kunna, right? Then here also we have ka, we have kuma, and then we have kum. Okay, right. Just to give a mirror image, now we are learning verb. This is dhamir muttasil if it's attached to a huruf or a isim or a noun, as per what we have learned before in our book 1. Am I right to say that? Okay, don't get mixed up. This ki, kuma, kunna, ka, kuma, kum is dhamir muttasil that is attached to huruf, right, or to nouns. That is what we have practiced back in book 1. Now we're going to mirror image this to these two finger. Same, I'm going to reflect these two finger only, second person finger only. Now we have, okay, we eliminate this singular. Okay, because this singular is not affected. The one that is affected is the dual and the plural form. Okay, now we are at the just now we discussed about ta'ul mukhatab. That means you did for male. Now we are at this finger, right, which is at the male finger. So we have tuma, right? Tuma. Then we have tum. Fa'altuma, fa'altum. Then again, ignore the feminine finger for singular, ignore, because that one is a really different topic, have no relation to what we want to relate to this dhamir muttasil. Then we have antuma for female, second person, still second person. All this same finger, these two is two same finger. So you have tuma also. Fa'altuma darabtuma. Then you have tunna. Fa'altunna darabtunna. Can see? Okay. I want you to take note. Okay, this is counted as as per page 6. Sorry, page 5. Page 5, sorry. Okay, this is counted as number 8, 9. So we are only discussing about 8, 9, 11, 12. 7 and 10 is not in this topic of Dhamir Muttasil. Why you want to compare, make comparison? Because we want to understand the concept. Okay. So again, this is for 8, 9, 11, 12. Right? 8, 9, 11, 12. So take note, 8, 9, 11, 12. So for tuma and tuma and tunna, okay, they are called as dhamir muttasil also. But this dhamir muttasil tuma, tuma and tunna is only applicable and specifically for verbs, for fi'il madhi, for past tense only. Can you understand? This kuma, again, this is also number. This actually, we can reflect the same. Number 8, 9, then here is 11, and here is 12. Okay, this 4. Okay, this one we take out. Not applicable. Sorry. Okay, it's not applicable. Then okay, for this 8, 9, 11, 12 is a mirror image, right? So kuma and tuma, what's the difference? Kum and tum, what's the difference? Okay, the difference here is tuma specifically for fi'il. And what kind of fi'il? Only fi'il madhi, past tense. Whereas for kuma, right, for this part here, kuma is attached to huruf or nouns. Understand not? Example, have to give example below. We will say kitabun, right? A kitab means kitabun, right? But if I want to say this kitab belongs to both of you, male, so we say kitabukuma, kitabukuma, right? Understand? Can? So do not mix up with this tuma. You don't you don't come up with your own interpretation and use tuma instead. It's not kitabu tuma, no, because this tuma is only for verbs like fa'al tuma, we have darab tuma, then we have kharaj tuma. So is kharaja means to exit, right? Kharaja, so kharaj tuma, both of you exit. Understand? So it only applicable for verbs. And what kind of verbs? Past tense, fi'il madhi. Whereas for kuma is applicable for huruf and isim, noun. Example, min kuma. Min kuma means what? From both of you. Min kuma, from. So there's min here, which is from. Then we have kuma, both of you. Min kuma, from both of you. Be it male or female, because kuma is be it male or female. Understand? Same. Here, darabtum, fa'altum, kharajtum. Tum. Okay? Tum here is only specifically for verb. For verb, for verb. That's why this is it. If you notice, right, this tuma, and tunna, kuma, kum, they have the same heading. Both, all of it is named under one heading, right? Dhamir muttasil, a pronoun that is attached, but the application and the approach is different. Okay, tuma, tum, tuma and tunna, right? For this tuma, tum and tunna, this is only attached specifically to verbs. And what kind of verbs? Past tense, fi'il madhi. Whereas for kuma, kum, kuma and kunna, these also attached pronouns, dhamir muttasil, which are attached to nouns or huruf. That's the difference here. No doubt they have the same heading, the same is under the same heading, is under the same topic, dhamir muttasil. But for this, it's only applicable for verbs, and this is only applicable for isim and huruf. In fact, for this also applicable for verbs, but not yet, because we don't want to touch on that part. It's more on an advanced stage, because when this second person of dhamir muttasil here is being attached to a verb, right, it become maf'ulun bihi. Maf'ulun bihi become the object. It's not part of the verb itself. It's already become it becomes another aspect of the Arabic grammar, right? So I don't want to touch on that, because we are only focusing on verb, right? We are only focusing on the verb aspect. Okay. Any question so far? Any question? No. Okay, I think we stop for here for our Arabic.